مرحبا أستاذ.
كيفك جورج؟
منيح، أنت كيفك؟
الحمد لله. إن شاء الله ما في برد عندك.
منيح اليوم.
منيح. ليه ما كتبت الهوم ورك تبعك يا جورج؟
كتبت
وينه؟
بالبيت. نسيت بالبيت أستاذ.
Why you didn't do it?
أستاذ بارد. I know it.
George, did we finish the last problem?
Yes أستاذ. We
Finished
finished.
it. Okay. سوزان كيفك؟
هلو أستاذ، منيحة، أنت كيفك؟
الحمد لله good. مريان how are you?
هاي منيحة، أنت كيفك أستاذ؟
باين عليكي مرشحة.
يس.
سلامتك.
ميرسي.
اوعى يكون كورونا بس.
لا I don't think so.
روبي كيفك؟
الحمد لله أستاذ، أنت كيفك؟
الحمد لله. ليح تالين اليوم فايقة بكير اليوم تالين.
أستاذ.
Okay, let's start. First exercise about combinations. Calculate 12 choose 3. هلا فينا نلاقي هيدا على الكالكوليتر directly. كيف بنلاقي هيدا على الكالكوليتر؟
12C3.
12 choose 3.
12 shift division 3. أو نحن رح نتعلم شوي how to use this rule. بس انتو بالاكزام أو you can use your calculator. CMP, what is the rule of CMP?
N factorial
N factorial over
N minus P factorial times P factorial.
N minus P factorial times P factorial. This is the rule that we are going to use this. Or بس رح نعمل solving in order to practice this rule. So exercise 1, part A. 12, I need to choose a 3. It is equal 12 factorial over the difference 12 minus 9, 12 minus 3 is 9 factorial over 3 factorial. Now 12 factorial and 9 factorial we can simplify by changing 12 factorial and write it in the form of 9 factorial. 12 factorial is 12 times 11 times 10 times 9 factorial. I stop at 9 factorial to simplify it with 9 factorial. 3 factorial is 3 times 2 times 1 is 6. 9 factorial and 9 factorial simplified. We get 12 times 11 times 10 over 6. We get 220. We start with the second one. Any questions about the first? Now 12 choose 9. We start with 12 factorial. The difference 12 minus 9 is 3 factorial times 9 factorial. It is the same as the above one. 12 factorial, 12 factorial, 9 factorial, 9 factorial, we get 220. By the same way, we get 220. Now, 30 choose 12 over 29 choose 11. First, I do the numerator. We get 30 factorial. 30 minus 12 is 18 factorial times 12 factorial. This is the numerator. Now the denominator. 29 factorial. 29 minus 11 is 18 factorial over 11 factorial. 18 factorial with 18 factorial simplified. Now far by far over near by near. Far by far, our outers over inners. 30 factorial times 11 factorial. The inners are 29 factorial times 12 factorial. Now 30 with 29 factorial, I can simplify them by changing 30 factorial into 30 times 29 factorial. 11 factorial, I leave it 11 factorial. 29 factorial, I leave it 29 factorial. 12 factorial, I change it to 11 factorial. Equal 12 times 11 factorial. Eleven factorial with 11 factorial simplified. 29 factorial with 29 factorial remains 30 over 12. By simplification divided by 6, we get 5 over 2. Example 4. Thirty choose 12 is 30 factorial. 30 minus 12 is 18 factorial times 12 factorial. Thirty choose 11 is 30 factorial. 30 minus 11 is 19 factorial times 11 factorial. Thirty factorial with 30 factorial remains 1 and 1. Outers, we get 19 factorial times 11 factorial over inners, 18 factorial times 12 factorial. Now 19 factorial, I change it to 18 factorial to simplify it with 18 factorial. So 19 factorial is 19 times 18 factorial. 11 factorial, I leave it the same, 11 factorial. 18 factorial is the same. 12 factorial is 12 times 11 factorial. 11 factorial with 11 factorial. 18 factorial with 18 factorial, we get 19 over 12. Part B. N choose P over N minus 1 choose P minus 1. The numerator will be N factorial over N minus P factorial times P factorial. هذا numerator. Denominator is N minus 1 factorial. Their difference هو بيصير N minus 1 N minus 1 minus P minus 1 بتصير N minus 1 minus P plus 1 مثل ما كتبتها هون N minus 1 minus P plus 1 ال1 وال1 1 minus 1 0 بضل N minus P factorial. So this one it becomes N minus P factorial times P minus 1 factorial. N minus P factorial with N minus P factorial are simplified. Outers over inners. This one times that one over inners. So N factorial times P minus 1 factorial times P factorial times N minus 1 factorial. Now N factorial و N minus 1 factorial we can simplify. P factorial with P minus 1 factorial could be simplified. So N factorial is N times N minus 1 factorial times P minus 1 factorial. El P factorial is P times P minus 1 factorial times N minus 1 factorial. N minus 1 factorial with N minus 1 factorial. P minus 1 factorial with P minus 1 factorial remains N over P. Any questions?
No, sir.
No.
Exercise 2. Solve the following equations. What's meant by solve? Part A, solve the following equation. It means that we need to find the value of the unknown n. Solve means find the value of n. So exercise 2, part A, n choose 2, or we can write it like n choose 2. So n factorial over their difference factorial, which is n minus 2 factorial times 2 factorial equal 105. Now n factorial or n minus 2 factorial, we can simplify them. So n factorial could be written as n minus 1, n minus 2 factorial. I stop whenever I reach n minus 2 factorial over n minus 2 factorial. 2 factorial is 2 times 1 is 2. Simplified. How to complete George here? How to find n?
Cross multiply.
Cross multiplication.
Cross multiplication. هيدا 105 over 1. We cross multiply. We get n times n square minus n equal 210. So he get n into n minus 1, n into n minus 1 equal 210. Expand n squared minus n equal 210. We bring 10 to this 210 to this side. We see n squared minus n minus 210 equal to 0. It is a second degree equation. We can solve it by calculator. So we get two values. تطلع n equal 15 وال n equal minus 14. Minus 14 is rejected. Why it's rejected? Why minus 14 is rejected?
It is less than 0.
It is negative, yes. لأن هي natural number بتكون. So here it is rejected. Now part B. 2n choose 3 over n choose 3 equals 11. Okay, I calculate this one. It will give 2n factorial over their difference 2n minus 3 factorial times 3 factorial. هيدا numerator. n choose 3 is n factorial over n minus 3 factorial times 3 factorial. 3 factorial with 3 factorial simplified. Now outers over inners, this one by that one first, over this one by that one. So 2n factorial over n minus 3 factorial. These are the outers. The inners are n factorial times 2n minus 3 factorial equals 11. Now, I cannot simplify here n with n. هي كلها 2 times n factorial. It is a one number, not 2 times n factorial. So 2n factorial, I have to change it to the form 2n minus 3 factorial to simplify, to be simplified. And n factorial, I have to change it to n minus 3 factorial. So 2n factorial, I start with 2n times 2n minus 1, I decrease 1 times 2n minus 1. I decrease 1 to n minus 2 times 2n minus 3 factorial. n minus 3 factorial, I leave it n minus 3 factorial. n factorial, I have to write it in the form of n minus 3 factorial. It will be n minus 1, n minus 2, n minus 3 factorial times 2n minus 3 factorial equals 11. I can simplify n with n. 2n minus 3 factorial with 2n minus 3 factorial, n minus 3 factorial with n minus 3 factorial. Now I can expand, then I solve. Or if I take this one, we have two common. We have two common here. So I put 2, I leave it هيدي 2 remains 2, بضلها 2 هون. 2n minus 1, 2n minus 1. If I take 2 common here, then it will be 2 into n minus 1 over n minus 1 into n minus 2 equal 11. إذا ما انتبهنا إنه فينا نعمل simplify, we expand the numerator, we expand the denominator, then we cross multiply. n minus 1 with n minus 1 simplified. Cross multiplication. 2 times 2, 4. 4 into 2n minus 1 equal 11 into n minus 2. Expand. 8n minus 4. 11n minus 22. We bring n to one side. 8n minus 11n is minus 3n. Minus 22 plus 4 is minus 18, and we get n equals 6. Part C. Ruby, did you write the previous?
Yes.
Okay. Now part C. N choose 3 equal N choose 7. I can solve it this one by putting this one N factorial over N minus 3 factorial times 3 factorial equals N factorial over N minus 7 factorial times 7 factorial. I can solve it like that. We can remove N factorial with N factorial. بيطلع معنا this one, but this will be difficult to solve. إنه بيطلع عندي equation of degree 4. So we took a rule whenever we took the properties that if we have two equal combinations تحت the same, we have the rule Cn choose P equal Cn choose N minus P. Np equal N choose N minus P. هي وقت يكون عندنا هون the same. هون اللي فوق وحدة بتكون N minus P وحدة بتكون P. So if I take P equal 3, will N minus P equal 7? So P equal 3, replacing P by 3, N minus 3 equals 7, N equal 10. With the same, if I put N minus P equals 3, will P equal 7? I will get N equal 10. Did you finish writing this extra part?
Yes.
Okay. Now we start with exercise 3. Using Pascal's relation to prove that. What is Pascal's relation? I forget Pascal's relation. حدا يعمل لي remind me.
I can.
Yes, remind me, George, about
1 or not.
not
شو بدك
Pascal,
تاخذ رقم؟
not Pascal's triangle, Pascal's relation. Pascal's relation says if we are adding two combinations,
ايه عرفت.
if we are adding two combinations, هدول same. ما بده يكونوا same. وهدول الفوق differ by 1. They differ by 1. So it will be a combination. I add 1 to this number. I add 1 to this number. It becomes n plus 1. And I take the greatest between p and p minus 1. I take the maximum, the greatest. What is the greatest between p and p minus 1? P. So if we are adding two combinations تحت the same, وفوق differ by 1, we get a combination we add one فوق ناخد the greatest one between them. يعني C95 plus C94 شو بقى تعطينا مريان؟ What it will
C10 5.
C105. So تحت the same وفوق differ by 1. I add 1 and I take the greatest. Now we are going to prove this Pascal's relation. How to prove this Pascal's relation? Okay, to use Pascal's relation, I need to prove this relation. I need to prove that the left side equal to the right side. But I cannot add, since we have here the presence of 2. Had it 2, I cannot add this one with that one, because here we have 2. And I can't add the first one with the last one, because P and P minus 2 differ by 2. I cannot add them. So first step, this 2, I put it twice. And like 2x, I can put it x plus x. So first I put Cn minus 2, choose P. This is 2Cn minus 2P minus 1. There exists 2 from it. So I can write it Cn minus 2P minus 1 plus Cn minus 2P minus 1. And this one remains the same. The same. In this 2, I write it as twice. Yani this one plus itself. Please, any questions about the first step? Any questions?
No.
No,
No.
sir.
Now, we look at the first 2. Here we have sum of 2 combinations. تحت the same, n minus 2, n minus 2. وفوق the upper numbers differ by 1. The upper numbers differ by 1. So according to Pascal's relation, we add 1 down, n minus 2 plus 1, it will becomes n minus 1. And I take the greatest between P and P minus 1, which is P. Plus these 2. Also sum of 2 combinations. Down we have the same number. Up we have, they differ by 1. P minus 1 and P minus 2. They differ by a 1. The difference between them is 1. So I add 1 to the lower number, n minus 2. I add 1. It will become n minus 1. And I take the greatest between P minus 1 and P minus 2. Sure, P minus 1 is greater than P minus 2. I take P minus 1. The last step, we have 2 combinations. We have two combinations. The lower number the same, the upper numbers differ by 1. I add 1 to the lower number. N minus 1 plus 1 will be n. And the upper number, between the upper numbers, I take the greatest, which is p, which is CMP. We get this equality. Is it understood?
Yes, sir.
إن شاء الله
Yes.
يكون إن شاء الله يكون هذا اليس يا جورج true yes,
Yes, sir.
not false yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I will do two small exercises, George.
Okay.
بلا سؤالي.
Okay, sir.
طيب George, answer this question. Exercise 4. You have the set E contains the numbers from 1 till 7. How many subsets of E of 3 elements, George? How to know the subsets of 3 elements?
7 C3.
7 C3. Okay.
Yes, 35.
Do you have a calculator?
No, Stiz.
Okay.
I have brain.
So here, هيدا not 4, should be 3, هيدا this one. We correct it, it will be 3. هيدي 3, we get 35. Okay, this is all for today. Please for tomorrow, complete the exercises.
تكرم أستاذ.
Okay.
معك تالين. تالين, you have to write your homework, تالين.
She's not here.
She is not here. على طول absent, تالين.
أستاذ لبكرة أي exercises؟
انتوا كان معكم لل6 مش هيك؟
No 5.
لل5. طيب اعملوا from 6 till 10.
Okay,
Okay.
Stiz.
Okay.
6 till 10.
تكرم عليك.
Bye.
باي باي. يلا.
باي Stiz.
باي.
بدك شيء Stiz؟
Have a nice day.
أنت كمان.
Yeah.
Thank you, same, bye.
باي.